stuff. She's tattooing harder. What is it like being married to Jesus? Just that in itself, like how can I help other people? And answering that question, that's pretty much like the question to pull you out of any sort of depression. Yeah. They're standing up there and I'm like, holy shit, she's marrying Jesus.
You're moving. You're moving.
I'm excited.
It sounds really scary.
Yeah.
But it's like...
It does sound scary. It sounds very frightening.
It's very ceremonial. And
totally. There's like bodily fluid and...
And you're creating like a new...
Okay, so what are you doing with the tattoo?
So we are going to go in and actually add white in between where we've already done like your blackout.
So you're going to pack white ink over top of black ink?
Yes, to desaturate or lighten your stuff that we're covering up.
That's never going to work.
Oh, yeah?
No, it actually totally does work. But it is definitely something most tattoo artists don't do. But you can do like 3 passes of white ink over top of black ink and it'll lighten it to the point where you can go right over top of it. And so it is super helpful. But most tattoo artists don't do 3 passes or so of white.
Or they don't know about it. Just lay back and relax and talk about Halladay.
Take it like a man.
That's right.
True story.
I mean, you said it.
You are outnumbered here.
Okay, so today we have Halladay Quest. Is it not Halladay Quest anymore?
It's Halladay Blake now.
Halladay Blake.
Yes.
So why not Quest anymore?
Quist was an amazing phase, and it's my father's last name. It was like blazed a trail through Montana that was amazing and gorgeous and artistic. Ultimately, I felt like I was ready for a new phase and just different types of music. And I've done country a lot in the past, and I wanted to break free back into like some rock and roll and some DJing and some dance beats. And so I think just with this new phase, I felt like I needed a new name. So I went with my married name.
So it's Halladay Blake.
Halladay Blake.
And you've been married for like a year now, right?
Yes.
Your anniversary soon, right?
Yes. We had our anniversary, the full moon in August.
Oh, fun.
And it was really great, yes. Everybody was sending us actually pictures and photos from the wedding. And
fun.
A lot of those like behind the scenes, like advice for the couple.
Oh, totally.
And my aunt was like, she's like this very sweet, very, demure woman. But they go up to her and they're like, what advice do you have for the couple? And she goes, a lot of sex. I was like,
that's so
That is really good advice.
That
amazing.
That is.
Yeah.
It is.
Totally. Yeah. What do you think is like probably the most important thing you've came away with for like your first year of marriage?
Ooh, good question. Oh, mic closer.
Oh, sorry.
You got to hold the mic
I think,
like this.
Yes, closer.
Okay,
We're all going closer. Okay.
Yes.
The first year of marriage, I felt like it was a time of celebration and kind of like joyous, like, oh my God. And kind of like almost like adjusting to the reality of like, oh, I'm connected to this person for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But also it was like finding that safety enough to kind of really unpack some of the trauma. We were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, like some of the stuff that's like buried in your back closet that you just like don't look at, you don't think about mostly.
Yeah, you don't share it with other people.
You don't share it, exactly.
Totally.
And so it was almost like now you have someone that's like there to unconditionally love you and be there for you. So it's like, let's really get down to what's going on in there and like unpack it and let it heal and let it air out and so
that's good. Super awesome.
That's amazing.
It's so rad. Like there's definitely a certain level of growth that you don't get unless you are with somebody that like gets to see that side of you. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. Like some people, Kelly and I were talking about that the other day, how like there's like certain people where you're really close to them and you treat them like a certain way. Like you're good friends, right? Yeah. You're never going to treat your good friends the way that you treat like your lover, but then they get to see like the dark side of shit too. Mm-hmm. They get to see like you throwing little temper tantrums and having fits and like getting upset about stuff. She's tattooing harder.
No.
No, but it really does. It takes like another person in your life that you're super close to like bring those things up. And then you have like two choices where you can either work on it and grow, or like just not work on it. And then that's like when relationships seem like they get messed up.
They start crumbling.
Yeah, totally.
And you're only going to show that stuff to someone who you feel like really has you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
Like that dark stuff of just like some of your trauma and some of your past, troubles and stuff. So yeah, it's been beautiful in that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is it like being married to Jesus? Her husband is literally like the
Jesus.
most Jesus looking.
Jesus.
Well, it's
That's
funny because
so
like
funny.
so all the really really great like Jesus portraits were hand drawn, right? And so they came from like 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 600 years ago, and they're like epic, and they have like these chiseled faces and like perfect noses, and like there's a quintessential Jesus that like I don't feel like has been captured with like normal photography that we've gotten since we've been able to like take pictures. But he looks exactly like my quintessential version of Jesus. Like when they were getting married, they're standing up there and I'm like, holy shit, she's marrying Jesus.
That's so funny. You were like
This is
freaking out.
awesome.
What?
You know, it made it so much more beautiful. I was
You
like,
guys
whoa.
are both gorgeous.
Like she looked like a goddess marrying a god.
That's so
pretty
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and he said like, I found my future wife, right? Like he saw you singing or something like that, and then
We
he
hadn't
ended
even
up
talked.
texting.
Yeah, we
one
hadn't
of
even
his
talked
buddies.
yet. He got sat right in front of me at one of my shows.
Okay.
And he was trying to make eye contact with me, but I wouldn't look at him because I knew I would mess up. I was like in the middle of a song.
that's
I
so
was like,
cute.
I won't look at him. And he took this little video of me singing and playing bass, and he said, he like sent it to all his friends. He's like, doesn't my wife sing good? And we hadn't even said
wild.
one word to each other. It was like he just knew and I just
Wow.
knew. And yeah.
So I saw that you're going by a new name on Instagram, and then you also have a new website, right?
Yes, I do.
Cool. And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of new stuff on your website because you're not just a musician, you're an author and a life coach too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so cool.
I want you to
have
be
to
my
tell us
life
more.
coach.
Yeah.
Got it.
Can you be all of our life
Yeah,
coaches?
I'll be life coach. I love
Yeah.
life coaching. It's actually been really amazing and rewarding, and just like who has been coming out of the word work to work with me. And it's also kind of taken my own discipline and intentions to a new level, because I feel like if someone's coming to me with their life and like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
I want to make sure it's like pure love, light, and for their highest benefit.
Right.
So it's like really setting that intention with myself, and that I can be a channel for them for whatever they need to hear at that moment. And yeah, it's been really beautiful.
That's awesome.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you just put your books out there then? Or is that new or?
Yeah, that's brand new. So that's like I've got a couple versions of my manifestation journal on there. And then I'm just about to release an ebook as well. That's going to be mostly about taking, your pain and your trauma and turning it into your gain, into your power, and different techniques that you can use to kind of help let go of some of the stuff that may be holding you back in your life. And
How did you learn how to do that or like get so invested in that?
I would say since the beginning, I've always had a curiosity about the man's journey.
Yeah.
Plato's, man's search for meaning, I guess, and started out kind of looking for it in religion.
Yeah.
Realized that wasn't really, all encompassing as I needed it to be.
Right.
And
Maybe not
there were
your
certain things that didn't align with me energetically within religion.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about more of just like the ascension process, and how do we go from being like contracted, sad, angry, in a desperate place, to being like a being of light that's like helping other people, being of service to humanity, and ultimately ascending, as if Jesus was a real character on our planet, how did he actually achieve ascension?
Right.
So I've always been kind of curious about that. And studying different texts throughout the years, and just kind of came about naturally, I guess.
Yeah. So like lots of research and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
And different like ways of like yoga, meditation, different like avenues of spiritual leaders and guidance, and just, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I totally know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all kind of do that, like searching for answers and going down different avenues and not feeling like it's a complete answer. So you keep searching until you find something that's fitting.
Yeah. And for me, it's kind of like the only reason we're here. Like, we come in with nothing and we leave with nothing. So it's like the real reason of what we're doing here is just to evolve our soul and our spirit and try to help there be more light on earth. Yeah. And that's awesome. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does.
Totally.
So it's about like changing the path in your brain and just being like, okay, I'm noticing I feel negative every day around 10:30. I start thinking about my financial worries. I start thinking about, things that I'm not doing correctly in my life. Okay, so take that, do a couple cleansing things around, like write it down, burn it, like whatever you have to do, and then notice that is a pattern in your mind and be like, okay, but I'm abundant and there's a world of possibility as I step out my door, and just kind of like rewire your brain to think that at 10:30, like, oh, I have all these amazing things coming towards me. I have no idea what tomorrow brings. I know it's going to be great. I know I'm going to be abundant. I know I'm going to, have the life I've always dreamed of, and just kind of start like writing it down, saying those things to yourself to kind of help you bring in that energy.
Totally.
Oh,
It's like a perfect.
That's a great explanation. Yeah, it is.
Like how to do it for sure.
Because if you just think of all the negative things over and over, you're just bringing more of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you don't realize it.
Totally. Well, and even on like a non-spiritual level, like it makes sense, right? Like if you're thinking negative thoughts, then you're going to end up being connected to like a stream of creativity where you're only going to be trying to solve those negative thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're thinking positive thoughts and you're thinking like, oh, things are going to work out awesome, like things are going to be great, then you're going to be looking for those opportunities. Mm-hmm. And then like it literally, like just even in a stream of creativity, like you're going to see more opportunities to be able to like take steps to be able to create like a positive life. Mm-hmm. But then I feel like there is totally kind of like a magical side to it too, where like once you commit to it and you like actually start doing it, then it does seem like life kind of does start to bend to help you accomplish those things. But it's cool because it's like both sides. It's like there's kind of like, I would say like a semi-spiritual side to it, or very spiritual side to it, and then there's like the common sense side to it too, where like doing that stuff is super, super helpful.
Well, and I know that people that are like struggling and they probably wouldn't want to hear like think positively.
Totally.
Like, yeah. Like F you, man. Right. But it's like if you were an athlete and you were training for, the Olympics or whatever it is, you would get up at a certain time every day. You'd go work out in a certain way. You would set up a whole schedule for your body and for your mind to help you get ready for that event. Yeah. And so it's similar in the sense that, you are preparing your mind and body for the life that you want to ultimately have. And that's what I'm interested in. That's where
that's super
my
awesome.
excitement goes.
Yeah, what you're working on. That's awesome. Well, and that was one of the things that I was going to ask you. I rewatched an interview from when you guys did the taping for Naughty.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was like right after the pandemic. So you were talking about having like a lot of time alone was having you shift like what you were working on and what brought you joy. And is this like kind of where like, is this what has led you to that, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. I think the pandemic was really tough because I had booked the most incredible tour of my life. And it was like all of this work had gone to this moment. And I was just so excited. And then pandemic happened and it was like it all crumbled before my eyes. And I ended up an elementary school teacher for a year.
What?
I was teaching kindergarten.
That's
through
crazy.
Yeah.
Kindergarten through 8th grade?
Yeah.
Where?
Like the
it's like a schoolhouse?
It was this little country school out in the middle of all this farmland, and I had always saved the possibility of teaching for when I'm older, I can go teach kids music, and
totally,
here I am in my prime, like the ultimate, and I'm doing my backup plan.
Yeah. So you were like, this doesn't feel right.
This does not feel good. And although the kids were amazing and I learned so much about myself and stuff, I was really in a dark place of just like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
This is not what my soul yearns to do every day.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible disciplinarian. So my kids were always tough. Like going wild and stuff. I even had like a couple of teachers come in like, what's going on in here? And I'm like, we're dancing and singing.
That's so fun. You're like, we're having a party. It's fine. You can leave.
We're singing at the top of our lungs. Is that a problem?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's really cool that you've mentioned a couple times about not just how it like benefits you, but other people. I know you've talked about like being of service, and I read on your website that there's like a lot of charity work that you've done and stuff. And it's so cool that you even have the capacity to think of that, because most people, when they're in those feelings, are just like, I just want to feel better. Like, I want to feel better and help other people. It's pretty awesome.
And it's kind of like the answer, right? Like, if you're depressed and you're feeling bad, like if you can find a way to like serve other people and help other people, it's like the fast track to getting out of that.
Yeah.
Because then like all of a sudden you start helping other people, and then like that makes you feel good.
Totally.
And like giving makes you feel good. It's like one of the things that makes you feel the best. But then a lot of the times, like when you're super depressed, like you're kind of like, you contract in, and then you don't want to give. But then like as soon as you decide to like start helping other people, then you are giving.
Yeah.
And so then it totally like starts making you like just that in itself. Like, how can I help other people? And answering that question, or like, how can I serve other people well? And you start like finding the honest answer to that. Like that's pretty much like the question to pull you out of any sort of depression.
Yeah. That's so true. And I bet you guys feel that all the time with tattooing, because it's like you've said that it's like therapy sessions also. So you're giving someone this amazing tattoo that's like changing their life, but also talking them through a lot of stuff that is life-changing, I feel like, in another sense.
Yeah, it's super good. Like tattooing is really, really awesome, just because like I feel like it's so deep. Like the connect, like you get to spend 7 hours hanging out with somebody like over and over working. How many sessions do we have into your piece?
I think we have 4 at least.
4?
Something like that.
It's so pretty.
Something like that. I need to give it some love and put some lotion on it.
No, Halladays so crazy, because I think we've spent like 7 hours working on like some tiny little parts on her tattoo, where there's like so many little details.
Tiny details.
But it's cool, like helping someone else's vision like come to life. And that was kind of like, I feel like in the beginning of tattooing, like it wasn't as centered around giving. It was more centered around like, I want to be an awesome artist.
Yeah.
And so it was like more self-centered. And then when I started trying to like use my skills to the best of my ability to be able to like tell someone else's story, then like it got crazy, where all of a sudden like it felt so good. And when I was doing it, I'm like, this is great. And I loved it. And like all the tattoos are so different, because like each person that comes into my life has a different story.
Yeah.
And so then I try and use like my artistic ability to like make their vision or their story come to life. And so Halladay's tattoo is unlike any other tattoo.
You're moving. You're
I'm
moving.
getting excited. It's like the people in India. We just got back from India, and then they start moving. It's just like rubbing off on me.
No.
I definitely noticed you do that sometimes since being in India. When you
Since
get,
being in
get a
India,
little-
where I start bobbing with my head.
a little bit.
Well, it's like what you do. Like when you're agreeing with somebody, if you're going like this, like that's no. And so like it's weird getting the hang of like, yes, I agree with you. And then like
You just, like, shake your whole body.
They don't. They're like way better at it, where it's like just this like perfect little head bobble, but I'm totally not.
You're trying though. You're
Indian,
practicing.
So, yeah. But it's great. Like it's a cool like.
It is
It
cool.
feels kind of amazing.
It
too.
does.
Like,
Yeah.
It's a cool way to say yes. I agree.
But yeah, I feel like with tattoos, like when I finally started like really deciding to, am I really fucking it up?
Yeah, I'm like just gonna chill out and not tattoo you
Okay,
while
I
you're
will
moving.
hold still. Okay, so you got fired from being a school teacher in the country for riding a horse naked, right?
No, I didn't get fired.
You were just bareback riding a horse across a field, a wide open field.
Well, I'm an artist, so I of course think the human body is beautiful. And,
It is.
I posted this picture of a naked woman riding a white horse. It wasn't vulgar. You couldn't see any of her nips or slips.
Bits or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think might have posted it before I was a teacher.
Oh, really?
And I just hadn't made my Instagram account private. So some parents had gone onto my Instagram page and seen it, and they thought it was me.
But it wasn't you?
It wasn't me. No, it was a really incredible photographer, one of my favorites. And so yes, I got called into the principal's office. And
he thought it was you, right? Like when he called you in there?
He did. Yeah.
Okay.
They all did. So it's understandable. It's like, if, a third grader would have gone onto my Instagram and seen what they thought was my naked butt. I mean,
riding a horse
it makes sense.
across a field.
So, yeah.
But it's kind of funny that you get to be like, that's not me. And they're like, oh.
Actually, that's not me.
Yeah.
She's got a great butt. I wish that was my butt.
Thank you for thinking it was me, but it's not.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. I just had to go turn it private. And I had the best principal while I was there.
Nice.
He actually retired that year, and it was his last year. So he'd seen it all, and he'd been through everything with parents and stuff. So he was very sweet and generous with that moment of being like, Hal,
Yeah.
go cover your butt on your Instagram, please. So, yeah.
So you didn't actually get like fired for that or
No.
let go for the
No, it
naked
definitely
horse
did
picture?
make me aware that like the parents were watching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they should be. So it's all good. Yeah.
What ended your teaching? Like, did you decide it just wasn't for you right now?
Well, I had 15 plus years of musical experience. And in order to be a part-time music teacher, I would have had to get, I think, another 4 years, maybe 5 of college to, and I understand with the elementary psychological aspect.
Right.
I think that would have been important, and I definitely could have used it in my first year.
Yeah, I get that.
But the music part, I was just like, so my 15 years as a professional musician doesn't
Doesn't
count
go
for
towards
anything.
anything. Yeah, that's
so that was a little
crazy.
frustrating. And I actually reached out to some of the universities to be like, hey, maybe we start a program that's like,
Yeah.
we have all these amazing musicians in the state. Maybe they just take a few elementary educational courses and
Right.
then so many music schools without music teachers.
Yeah.
Like, I think right now it's at like 57 in the state.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That is such a bummer.
Yeah, like
The same
let's
thing's
figure something
happening
out.
with like art too. Like art teachers are super hard to find.
And I think it's not really fair that you have to go through these crazy programs to be certified to teach. Because a lot of people that are teaching art are just like, well, it was the only thing that was open. It's not because they have a passion for it.
Right.
And they've never been a professional artist either, or like made a living at it. And so like there's a huge gap there between like, oh, I do this for fun. Because like if you've done it, like I feel like it would have been so cool seeing you like actually teaching music to kids just because like you're super passionate about it and it's your life and you love it and it's like you're good at it. Where like I remember the first time I got to see Halladay sing, like she had already booked her tattoo and like there was someone in the shop that knew who she was when she booked her tattoo and they're like, oh, she's a singer, like she's really good. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then we were at the lodge and like we were just having lunch and she did like this thing where she had like 7 different instruments like all lined up in a little thing in front of her. Yeah, like
And
so
she was
many,
running
like
a
a
little
guitar
late.
and like and she has like all these different instruments. And
so
she's
cool.
like, she comes up and she's like, hello, I'm Halladay Quist. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the girl that's like, I'm gonna
That
do
you're
a
gonna
tattoo
tattoo,
for.
yeah.
And I'm sitting over and she started singing and it was just amazing.
I kind of
And
like
so-
your impression of my voice.
Captivated our
She
entire
does
table.
well. Like her whole voice like gets like her singing voice is like, can you give us your singing voice? Can you be like, hello, I'm Halladay Blake? Is that
Hello,
it?
I'm Halladay Blake.
See,
Oh, yeah.
it changes. Like she's good. She's
Sultry.
good. With,
Yeah, that's
So
good.
sultry. It was one of the best burgers I've ever had.
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
Made your food better.
Yeah.
But it makes you want to do it. Like when you see somebody that's like as amazing as you are and like you're doing it, then it makes you want to do that thing and it makes you like want to be a part of it. You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
If you have somebody that's like a person who's never really done music and they're not that good at it, and then like they're teaching kids, the kids are going to be like, why would I want to do this? Like,
Yeah.
they suck. Music sucks.
Well, and I think that takes away from like future teachers and future
Yeah.
artists because kids aren't going to want to be a teacher if they're watching a teacher that's like not having fun and hating it.
It's hard to be inspiring if like you're not good at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I just remember from grade school, it was a lot of like old hymns and,
Yeah.
you know, like really old, like Joy to the World and like just really kind of flat, like 100 years ago
Dated,
kind
yeah.
of music. And it was just like so much fun to be with these kids and be like, you guys write your songs. Let's see what you want to sing about. And, you know, let's
You had them
some
write
beats.
songs?
That's
Had
the
them-
coolest thing
yeah.
ever.
We did it.
How old are they?
School-wide songwriting competition for every class. Every class wrote their own song.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
And I love the songs that they came up with. Like the kindergartners came up with this song that was like, when I grew up, I want to be a cowboy. And
Nice.
the 7th grade girls wrote this song about loving yourself and knowing that you're beautiful no matter
Aw.
what size and shape you are. And
It's amazing.
the boys, what did the boys write about? Oh, they wrote about fast food.
Nice.
Fast food was chicken nuggies.
Chicken nuggets.
Such a deep well
Yeah.
of wisdom.
It was one of my favorite songs, though. It was kind of like punk rock. It had like kind of a Nirvana vibe to it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So rad.
And who doesn't love chicken nuggets?
exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the kind of
point.
stuff that makes you want to do it, though. No, I love that. So now you're kind of like, are you transitioning out of music? Are you still doing music, or are you going to be like spiritual guide?
I will be a full expression of myself,
Ooh.
which is multifaceted.
All right, let's
in
hear
many
it.
ways. I think music will always be a part of my life. It's something that's brought me so much joy, and it's kind of ingrained in that whole way of existence. As far as like, you know, since I was a little girl, I've heard music coming and being made around me. So it's just kind of like it's just part of it. So that will always be there. But I think the next phase has a little bit more freedom in the sense that, you know, I do want to do music that is kind of like dance beat, kind of ecstatic dance. So I've been doing a lot more DJing and just kind of getting into that vibe. And
So
That's
fun. That's so
badass.
different for you.
it is. It's a new phase, and it's something that's so much fun. It's just such a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are you making your own beats? And like you have your own like
I
little
haven't
mixer and
started
stuff?
that
You're like-
yet. I mean, I've written a few songs that have more of like dance beats that I'll
Okay.
be releasing in the next like few weeks or so. Yeah, but yeah, and I'm just I'm kind of going more into like the spiritual crystals and stuff. I just in the next day or two I'm going to release my body jewelry,
Okay.
which is kind of sacredly blessed, and like intentions are set with the crystals to kind of help protect your energy centers.
Nice.
We have so many energy centers in the body, but like the main ones are like the 7 chakras, right?
Yeah.
And so like this one, this is my tiger's eye version. And tiger's eye in its best like blocks negativity. And so I feel like this last Mercury retrograde, I kind of needed a little help
all? Yeah.
blocking the negativity.
You should totally show Carlitos that.
Yes.
That is
I love
awesome.
it.
This one.
That is so cool.
I
So
love
you
how
made
it's like
this?
over
I
your
made this.
clothing.
Yeah.
So pretty.
And what's cool about it is you can kind of wear it in different ways. So this is the bralette version.
Okay.
It goes right under your boobies.
Love that.
You can also wear it as more of like a
Oh.
thing like this. Or you can take it off and wear it more kind of like I'm wearing these ones. I have a lot of them on today.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Kind of,
Those are
Those are
beautiful.
awesome.
you know, I mean, crystals are, I think we're just starting to begin to understand the capacity of crystals. We really don't know what magical little the Native Americans called them stone people.
Okay.
So it's like, so much power and energy that like untapped in earth that, has been given to us.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to kind of realize the capabilities of what's possible.
So what is your overall understanding of like metaphysical properties when it comes to rocks? Like based on your experience, right? Like, cause I had no idea about any of that stuff until I met Kelly, and then she's kind of like a witch secretly deep down. And
Secretly.
so like, yeah, she's like constantly playing with rocks and crystals. And
Yeah, she's got a lot of rocks.
She's definitely got some like sexy witch vibes to her for sure. But like over the course of time, like there's been, it's super interesting because like I definitely have noticed like when I'll get a different bracelet or something, right? And it has a certain intention. Like you read about the rock and then you read about like what certain stones do or certain gems do or crystals do. And then like you start wearing it or you start like having it in your space, like where you're working and stuff like that. And then it seems like literally like 3 or 4 weeks later, you'll be sitting there and you're like, oh damn, everything that like it said it was going to do like happened. And so like I think so much of it is like that intention. But like what do you think your overall take on like what they do is, or like what the deeper level of all of it seems to be?
Well, we live in a vibrational universe, and like if you get down to the microscopic level, you and I sitting here, we're only like 0.001 matter.
Yeah.
And so if that's true,
if that,
and that just makes it so interesting because it's like, okay, this isn't real. This is like something,
space.
that my brain is creating in a holographic universe of like empty space. This is empty space.
Yeah.
And so for me, with that in mind, the crystals are vibrational beings as well, and they have an energy about them that is kind of like, if you took it on a grand scale, let's say you look at the sun and it has this like bright, vibrant energy that's so bright and so vibrant that we have life on Earth.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like the maximum energy level.
Yeah.
And then you go on like a micro level as far as like just like one of these little stones, like in a very, tender kind of small way, they have a vibrational energy as well. It may not be strong enough to grow a plant, but it is strong enough to like, sit down with it and like set an intention and cleanse it and be like, can you help me accomplish or, point me in the right direction or, protect me from energy vampires or, whatever it is.
Energy, that's
a real
funny.
thing.
My buddy Trevin was actually telling me about like a documentary he watched where there's like literally bars that have people that are like energy vampires.
I've heard of that too.
And they like bring people in and like literally feed off of like their energy, and it helps them like be able to like stay up longer, which is super weird. I've heard people say energy vampires, but then like listening to him talk about it, I'm like, what? Really? This is
We're going right here. Thing? Okay.
But yeah, there was like a whole documentary about it. I haven't seen it, but
sounds
I heard
interesting.
about it.
Yeah.
But
well,
I think
it's not like a negative thing. I mean, it sounds really negative. It sounds really scary.
Yeah.
But it's like
it does sound scary. It sounds very frightening.
There's some people who you're around where it takes a lot of energy to be around these people. But then there's other people who it's like you feel energized by them.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a very easy differentiating factor of, do you feel energized after your interaction with them or drained?
And you probably see that a lot in tattooing too.
Oh yeah, you have to put up some boundaries for sure. Otherwise, you just like take a lot on.
Do you have a little special intention you set before you're working with someone that you feel like?
For sure. Yeah.
What is it?
Well, we write our goals for each tattoo. And so that's kind of like setting a baseline of an intention for like the goal that you're trying to come across in your session, and usually take notes on the person so that you know what they've been through and kind of like their situation, and so you can
all
put
tattoo
intention.
artists do this.
I think it makes sense though. It is a very sacred exchange that's going on. It's very ceremonial, and
totally,
the
there's like bodily fluid and
and you're creating like a new
whoa, don't read too much. Whoa.
Oh, sorry.
bodily fluid.
Getting into the tattoo.
But yeah, Yeah, no, there's totally intentions set like every time just to kind of like help them with whatever they're working on, and at the same time keeping space for yourself so you're not taking on anything negatively, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where like the questionnaires that you guys have people fill out, like potential clients, is so huge. Like getting an idea not only of what they want for a tattoo, but like where they're at in life and how you can help them, and if that experience is like going to be helpful really in tattooing and stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about the interview because
The tattoo.
yeah,
like,
the tattoo
questionnaire?
interview. Like I think earlier today I was thinking about how it really made me want to work with you guys. Because
Really?
it was like you were kind of putting me through this little process of like, okay, who is this chick? You know?
Totally.
And also kind of made me think, okay, who is this chick? And then answering the questions, and like as I continued on, I was just like trying to make my answers like as cool as possible, so like you guys would work with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It totally worked.
That's so funny.
But it's funny, like the tattoo questionnaire, like we send out so many questionnaires and so many people think it's so dumb. So many people get it and they're like, this is so stupid. Like, why would I want to fill out a questionnaire for a tattoo? Like, this makes no sense. And
Yeah.
like, I just want to get tattooed. And it's cool because those are the people we don't want to work with.
Yeah.
And so it just like weeds them all out right off the bat. But then like, I'm the kind of person where I would love filling out a questionnaire too. And it would make me know that the person doing the tattoo actually cares about the tattoo. And so then it makes it so people like you end up kind of like getting drawn into our lives like naturally, because if you aren't the kind of person that is into filling out a questionnaire and answering those questions,
Right.
then you're not gonna ever end up answering the questions and then getting tattooed by us. But a lot of the questions are actually like really intentionally designed to just pose these questions to people that they've never asked themselves. So like our question, like, what is your definition of happiness? There's so many people out there that want to be happy, but they've never even defined it. They've never even defined like, what is happiness to me? And as soon as you write it down on paper, then a lot of the times you're like, whoa, I can achieve that every day, like more than I ever thought. Or like, what is your definition of success? And then so many people are like, that's the same as my definition of happiness. And you're like, boom, well, are you successful? And they're like, yeah, I'm already successful.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool because a lot of them we intentionally put in there to make it so they're hard to answer. But then if you do answer them, then it kind of like takes you to a deeper place.
Yes, the next podcast is the true happiness.
Just your questionnaire.
of
So
taking-
what would you say, okay, off the top of your head now, what would you say your definition of happiness is now?
happiness?
Yeah.
I would say right now
Yeah, where you're at now in life.
would be balance between mind, body, and spirit. A daily meditation practice. Joyful, loving, inspiring experiences with people of my tribe.
Nice.
And traveling. I see a lot of traveling in my future. I think there's something that happens. It's like magic or something when you head out on the road and you kind of like blaze a trail that you haven't blazed before.
Totally.
It's almost like more synchronicities can happen and more people like that you're supposed to meet, you run into them, and like something too about just kind of getting out of your routine and like taking your energy like out into the earth and different places is like magical.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's my definition of happiness.
Yeah, that's a super good one. Just off the top of your head, man. I was like, I'm gonna go home and cuddle my dog, but
That's a great
that was really
definition of
good.
happiness.
It's so different for everybody.
Totally.
Like, what's your definition of happiness, Mariah?
Oh, well, I just said it, but just kidding.
Cuddling your dog?
No,
good one.
that's, I don't know. Just getting to like make fun memories with my kids with the age that they're at right now, building some core memories for them. And yeah,
Nice.
How old are your kids right now?
I have a 6-year-old and a 1.5-year-old.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yes.
They're kind of demons, but It's okay. I love
But
them
I love
still.
It's okay. Good parenting ends up like overcoming that with
totally.
a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. I mean, yeah, you guys have 4 kids, so
Yeah.
you're pros. What's your definition of happiness?
Ooh. I think you have to separate satisfaction and then you have to separate pleasure in order to like actually understand what happiness is. And so many people think that satisfaction or like being super happy with something that happened or something that you accomplished is happiness. And I think that's a really cool feeling, but I don't think that's happiness. And then pleasure is also amazing. And a lot of people associate pleasure with happiness, but I don't think that like pleasure is actually happiness. I think pleasure is something totally different. And so I think happiness, like a better definition of it would be like joy. And so joy can exist at any point in time. Like you could experience joy, and I have. Like I've been locked up in jail before, like doing drawings for people and like living in a cell, sleeping like with a blanket over my eyes because it's like super bright at night. And then like the most random moments, like still been experiencing like this wonderful feeling. And so to me, I would say that is happiness, like that feeling of like joy that's underneath your thoughts and it's underneath the things that you want to do and it's underneath your expectations and everything. And so like I believe happiness is always there and it's something that you can feel at any moment if you go like beyond your thoughts. That is joy. And so like to me, I would say joy is happiness. Is that shorter?
Yeah, that was
It was
good.
shorter, yeah.
That was good. And I totally
Nice.
agree with you, Jake. I think that your definition really does have a lot to do with, you know, what is happiness? What is actual happiness? Because we have all these ideas that we think will bring us happiness, and then we
Yeah.
get there, and then we're like, oh shit, I don't
It's
feel
fleeting.
happy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. One of my big ones was I was opening for Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like this pinnacle moment in my career. I was like, oh, Jewel, so excited.
So cool. So cool, by the
That
way.
is epic. Like,
Yeah.
talking
No
about
big
like
deal.
satisfaction and pleasure and all
Right?
of that, like rolled up into one for
And
sure.
I was like, this is it. This is the moment, right?
Yeah.
This is where my happiness will come from. And then the actual day came, and it was one of the worst days of my life. Like, it was so stressful. My booking agent, like, had come into an altercation with the head of the guy who owned the venue. It was this huge drama session. I had to let her go because of it. I'd been, like, driving and working all day on, like, what I should wear. I was so freaked out about like my brand and people seeing me on stage, all this new audience. And I was just like so in my head about all of it. And I step on the stage and I'm so like in that state of like fear, really.
Yeah.
You know, just like such, like so worrying about all the little details. My hands are like shaking as I step on the stage. Luckily, I've done it enough times where I can just like go into the mode and be like, this is Halladay Quiz.
Nice.
You know? But I was so worn out afterwards. I was not happy at all. Like, I had the chance to meet her later and I didn't because my phone was out of service and like we didn't end up connecting in that way. And I was just like, I was just in that place of like, wow, like this is what my whole life is like, you know, geared towards right now. And I'm here. I'm supposed to be having the time of my life and I'm not. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm over it. You know, and that too is one of the moments of just like, what would bring me joy? What is joy? You know, what is divine ecstasy? What does that feel like? You know? And yeah, I think your definition of it, of your soul being pure joy.
Yeah.
Right. It's from that like divine place of creation, of just like existence in general. It has this like spark of life that is just like, you know, this ecstasy, this joy. It's like divine. It's just like we're alive. Like and we've all felt that sometimes. And it's when our head and our direction kind of get in the way of that and we get a little bit disconnected right?
Yeah.
It's almost like that contracted, disconnected feeling that we're not on the path. We think we are. We think we're going for joy. We think we're going for happiness. But really it's a man-made version.
Totally.
And there's like a bigger view that if you just relax and surrender, that like you will be swept into the river of like the direction you're supposed to go. And you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. It's a super cool way of looking at it too, because like when you kind of let go, when you like what you're talking about is like you have this expectation and you think like once you do this thing, then you're going to like be happy. But then that is actually like postponing the feeling of happiness that you could have at any moment.
Exactly.
And like, but the thought itself, because you say like, once I do this thing, then I'm going to be happy. Then you like postpone your happiness in that moment.
Totally.
And then you don't feel it until like that moment comes. And then sometimes even that moment comes like you're talking about and it's not what you expected. And then you're like, this is bullshit. Like I was supposed to be happy. And it's like, you can be happy at any time. Like if you didn't have those expectations. And so then going with the flow, that idea of like going with the flow or flowing with like the river of life ends up making it so then you experience more of those moments where you like you can just like feel the actual joy. And then you also experience the pleasure and you also experience the satisfaction, but then it's more like heightened, right?
It is more
then
heightened.
Like your love making isn't like just to get off. You're not just like having sex just to be like, I just want to get off. There's like, you're experiencing pleasure and you're experiencing satisfaction, but then you also have like the joy mixed in, which ends up taking it to this like whole other level that ends up being something that you never expected before.
Exactly. Way better than you could have ever imagined.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
I was waiting for her to say something on
smooth
it.
Transition. I was just like kind of blown away at like our switch in direction. I was like, music, sex. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he snuck that in there good.
Did.
That could be a sex joke too.
Well, yeah, like that's one. I feel like one of the most common things, right? Like that people
totally
like pleasure is like sex, but then like there's so many people that talk about sex being so much more. And I think like when you're in that moment where you're actually experiencing the joy along with the pleasure and along with the satisfaction and it's like all there, then it's super, super amazing. And they're like, whoa, it was like being with this person was so much better. And it's like, yeah, you're experiencing so many other things than like just pleasure and just satisfaction.
Yeah, well, sex is really dimensionally like a major, major occurrence because it's like, A, it's where life comes from.
Yeah.
Be like energetically, like if you're having sex with someone, like all of your energy centers are connecting with them in a way that you shouldn't have sex with someone unless you actually want to be them.
Really?
That's how much energy is being passed between you. Okay,
so why wouldn't you want to have sex with someone? Like, what about like just a one, like a quickie, right? Like, what if you're just
pleasure,
like,
bro?
Is there?
Which actually, back to what we were talking about earlier, we're talking about how did Jesus achieve ascension?
Yeah.
A lot of what him and Mary Magdalene practiced was Kundalini sex magic.
Really?
And it wasn't like,
well,
you know, when I say that, when I say that,
that sentence was like, Jesus?
Jesus and Kundalini got me.
Okay.
Well, I'm not talking about
ears,
like wild, you know, like pumping sessions or anything like that. But it's like,
well, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he had to supercharge his light body so that, you know, when he died, his essence lived on in the third dimension. And so, you know, how you would go about doing that is just like supercharging your Kundalini, which is the, you know, it starts in the base chakra and lights up the rest of your energetic body systems. And you can do that with a partner because it's like masculine and feminine are that duality. So in a sense that becomes whole, that becomes like the circle. Yeah. And so it's like with her help, they were able to just like really get all of his energetic systems in a place that he could perform something like that.
You're going to help me transcend.
Definitely. I got you.
I love
So
that
if
you're
I
just
just
like
like
cool.
disappear, we all know what happens.
If he starts levitating, we'll know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be like, that was Kelly.
That was Kelly.
She
is a
aligned,
witch.
She aligned all of it.
That's
I
awesome.
got you. And I'll be down there with the kite string. Like, making sure you don't
I got you, babe. I love that.
That's so awesome.
So,
I'm kind of curious why you guys chose me as your next feature.
as our next featured artist,
the featured artist.
so we're trying to feature people that are, I would say, like EXEX, our brand. The whole meaning behind it is exceeding expectations, right? And so like exceeding expectations is what we're trying to do with the clothing and what we're trying to do with everything that we put out there. And so the people that we're trying to feature are the people that exceed expectations of like a normal person. And so you are that person. Like the amount of time that you put into your music and then the way that you've developed everything and then like just listening to you sing, you are the kind of person where when someone hears you sing, they start to fall in love with music. And I feel like anyone that is really, really amazing at what they do, that always happens. So like Mike, the Diesel Queen shirt that we did for him, like you see his car and like you look at it and you see what he built and what he's done, or like you look at one of his houses that he's built and it's the same thing where you're like, this is amazing. And there's something about it where it makes you want to do that thing. And I feel like dreaming itself is a hard thing to do. So like dreaming, most people have a hard time with it because they don't think they can. They don't think they're going to be able to make it. They don't think that they're going to be able to achieve what they're hoping to achieve, and so they just stop dreaming. Like so many adults, like there's almost like this unwritten code, like when you're a kid you get to dream, and then when you turn into an adult then you got to stop it and you have to like have a real job. You got to grow up, you got to have a real job. And so then just seeing people that are actually doing it, that like actually put the time in and they put the effort in to like get good at it, and then they ended up achieving this thing that so many people would think is impossible. Like it inspires other people to want to do it. And so it unlocks the ability to dream. And so we picked you because you're the kind of person that unlocks the ability to dream in other people because you're so good at what you do.
That's the
Yeah, you
worst
got
explanation ever.
That is awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you got kids starting bands. And
Yeah, for real. Writing songs about chicken nuggies.
You got
Like,
kids that are forming bands that like want to
And
do
those are like
music,
some
right?
super lucky kids to be able to be
Yeah.
inspired by you, you know?
That's amazing, you guys. That's amazing to hear. Honestly, it's like because you still, even as a being in the world that may exude confidence, like you still have that little person inside of you that's like has the fear, has the doubt, doesn't really believe that you can do it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so to like hear that reflected in your outside world is just it's really touching. So thank you.
Well, and stuff like that I think is good for people to hear too, which is kind of like, I would say a big reason like why you're on here also. Like it doesn't, like no matter how good you get, like you still doubt yourself. No matter how good you get, you still have problems. Like it's not like you hit this magical point where all of a sudden everything is perfect and like you achieve it. It's like you keep working at it and you keep working at it, and over time it gets better and better, but then you still doubt yourself. You still have problems, and like you still have mornings where you're like, I don't know if I want to get up, and then you got to be disciplined and like actually do it and take steps towards your dreams.
Right.
So having you say that is cool. And so that's the thing. Like if you have somebody that they've done it and then they're relatable too, then it makes other people be like, maybe I could do that. Like maybe I could be a singer. Maybe I could do this thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I can
That's
dream.
the difference. I can dream.
Yeah. Totally.
What would you say to the people out there that are on the fence about accomplishing their dreams, or like I think that one of the best ones is like if they wanna go after something or do something, what advice do you have for people that want to pursue their dreams but are afraid?
Well, I think that there's always going to be that time when you first start something that's like wobbly steps, right? Where you're kind of like, what am I doing here? You're like, everything feels weird. It feels new.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never done this before. You don't have faith. You don't have trust. You're just like kind of like throwing yourself into the unknown. And that will always be there with whatever you start that's new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So might as well just embrace that feeling and just be like, well, I know one day it's going to get better. I know one day I'm going to feel like I know what I'm doing as I step out on this path, because I'll be deeper and I'll know more. And, you know, of course I'm going to mess up, and that's just a part of life. And a certain amount of humiliation is expected. But you can always go get that other job, or you can always, you know, move back to a place where you feel safe, or, you know, do that safety plan that we all have, right? We have this like backup plan. It's like, well, if I don't do this, I guess I'll go do this. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be there. So might as well like fail and, you know, just like throw yourself out into the unknown on something that you're excited to do. And actually my hubby's got this saying that it always, and actually Michelle Rivers wrote a song about it actually, and I saw her at Under the Big Sky, and I started crying when she sang this song. It was like, if I had like millions of dollars, I would buy a career playing music. And that's like, you know what I mean? Like if you had $10 million in your bank account, what would you do? You know, what would that thing be? And like, do that. Don't waste any other time doing something else to try to get the 10 million. Just pretend like you have it there and you're already abundant and everything's good. I know. I was trying to think of any rock songs about Christmas. Can you guys think of any?
Jingle Bell Rock?
Yeah.
Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocking around the Christmas tree? Is that
Rocking around the Christmas tree? Yes.
Not very many others.
Oh,
That's not a thing.
You didn't hear DMX?
No.
I've never heard that either.
R.I.P.
He's like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed.
That sounds awesome.
You should try that.
I should try that.
I bet you could do better than that. So
Yeah, let's do it. Let's rap. Christmas rap.
yeah, that sounds awesome. So will people be able to find more info on like future shows and DJ events and stuff on your website too?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's all on there in one happy combination.
Yes.
And how do we listen to your awesome new DJ style music that you're going to be coming out with?
Right. Well, I think I'm going to release it on all the platforms. I used to be worried about that, you know, just with the whole, should I go on Spotify or not? Because it really doesn't pay artists like anything for use of its music. But now I'm just like, you know, putting it out in the universe, and the universe will take care of me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Right on.
Yeah.
You should start a Patreon for your music. I would totally go on there and like be one of your patrons for your stuff. Especially if you had something cool where like if you were a patron,
you
then
get
you
VIP
could, like,
access.
Yeah, if you had like VIP access, or if you had like the ability to be able to use it on like TikTok or Instagram or those ones where it's like like if I just want to do a crazy video, then I could like use your music in the background. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a fair deal for sure. Yeah, 100%.
No, that's so cool. So Halladay Blake on Spotify and Apple Music and all the different platforms.
Yes.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to see what Halladay Blake makes. Halladay Quist was pretty epic. So you're going to have to do better.
You got so lucky with super cool last names. Right? Because like my last name was Hurd, Hurd. And I'm so close to turd. Like I got that so much in school. I was like, but I'm like,
kids are awful.
Blake? I did it to my brother a lot though. So like, it's fine.
It was karma.
I'm the mean kid.
That's so good.
But yeah, you have awesome like last names. And
what's your last name now?
Weide.
Whitey.
Yeah.
I
still
like
don't.
Whitey.
I still don't know
He
her
doesn't.
last name.
He's always like, just freezes. Sometimes he tries and he's like Weedle or Whittle.
Weedy.
Weedy. You
It
say
looks
that
like
one a lot.
Weedy.
It does.
Like, pass me a box of Wheaties.
Yeah, it's Weide, so it's very confusing. Every time I go places, they're like, "Bleh."
That just makes me think of me, myself, and Irene. Whitey.
Whitey?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm never gonna forget it now. I'm just gonna picture you with like glasses.
that's all I needed.
That have a little macro lens
Yeah.
on it, so you can see into
I love
planes
that.
flying
Please
by.
picture me like that.
Can we actually get that in a video
Yeah,
form?
we do. We do need that for sure. That's what I should be for Halloween, maybe.
Boom! There you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm set.
Mariah Whitey.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So I don't have cool last names, but you do.
Thanks, Marlon.
Yes, of course. So we have an app that we're starting.
That's awesome.
Yes. And it's called EXEX Alliance. And it's kind of playing into the podcast. So we're kind of rebranding it. It's going to be Ink and Icons.
Okay.
And then in the app, it's kind of cool. It's set up like a social community. It looks sort of like Facebook and Instagram, but it's pretty cool. It's way cooler. We have different kind of feeds where you can share stuff, and we're going to have artists in there that are sharing what they're working on.
Oh, wow.
Inspiring
I love that idea.
stuff. Yeah, it'd be super cool to see your stuff in there, all your
That's
new stuff
amazing. I
that
will
you're working
definitely
on.
check it out.
Yes. And right now it's just in like the testing
Okay.
phase.
I
So
love
we're
that
not
phase.
live yet.
Yes,
Yes.
glorious.
Yes. So there's lots of little
Okay.
kinks to work out still. But we're kind of just working on posting more and building a community. So when we really start with the podcast, we have more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it'll be super fun.
That's exciting. What do you call in this app?
XX Alliance.
XX Alliance.
Yes.
Yes.
Love that. That's incredible, you guys.
But it's gonna be super cool. Like, we got the space that you'll be able to have as an icon. Like, you're coming on the show like as a featured icon. And so the icons that we have that come on, like, will get their own spot where they'll be able to post things and like share stuff with people in their community. And then if you want to, you can have like a paid section where people pay like a monthly membership fee to like be able to access different content that you have that's like private content.
Oh, that's so
and
great.
then you'll have like a place where you can just post whatever to like different people in there. So
That's
I'm
amazing,
stoked
you
to
guys.
see
That's
like
really cool. I'm
what you
excited
do with
for
your
it.
spot in there.
Yeah, it'll be super cool to see the artist pages set up. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and just have a collective somewhere
Totally.
online where we can all kind of hang out together.
Yeah, well, and that was our
Totally.
goal, to have like more of a community, because like Instagram and Facebook and all that, it doesn't feel super close knit. It doesn't feel like a good place to share a lot of the time.
Well, now that we know what they're doing with all their programming and
Yeah.
stuff, it's just like
It's
ugh,
gross.
It is gross.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
like it.
Pretty gross.
Ew.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to launch the app and
Yeah.
form a super close knit community and be able to share things and comment and like on each other's stuff. And
That is so exciting.
yeah,
you guys.
we're super excited about it.
I love the name too. XX Alliance.
Yeah.
Jake.
And so the app is actually where you're going to be able to go to see like extra parts of the podcast. So like if people want to see more of this podcast,
Okay.
then they'll be able to like sign in to the app. And the basic level of the app is totally free. So like to get in and see the extra content that we have of your podcast, then they just have to sign into the app and they can watch it in there. And then they'll get like notifications of different live stream stuff that we do and different Q&As. So like if you wanted to do a Q&A to the different people in the community, then you can totally do that through the app. It's got a lot of really cool features that like we're building out. And then we have the actual different parts inside the app. There's like tiered levels. And so then the highest level actually is like a clothing subscription. And so the people that subscribe to it are going to be able to get like a piece of clothing each month along with their
way.
subscription. Yeah.
What, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That
and
is
then
so awesome.
each person that comes on is getting a design. So we'll have like sticker packs and different shirts and stuff like that.
So
Super
my
cool
bonus
artwork.
features will be Kundalini sex magic.
You're definitely going to want to sign up for that.
You're already viral.
Love it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Are
but
you taking notes?
I'm just going to sign up for it. I'm going to be like Halladay's first follower on there. Be like, all right, tell me the secrets.
You might have to beat me to
Yeah.
it.
I'm already starting to transcend. I just need to like have
That last
extra
little.
bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So this part right here, she just lined, and so those super shaky lines are all her.
You better watch out.
Instant karma.
Got that in 8K, baby. Keep talking.
That's so funny.
That's awesome. Well, we're all super excited to read your book and do the journal.
So people can go online to find your website. They can see your coaching, and they can also find. Are they going to be able to find links to your music too on there? Or do we have to actually search for you?
Yeah, they can find links to the music.
Nice.
It'll be on
Okay, so everything about you will be on there except your shirt, which is available on the EXEX.art website. And people will be able to log in there and buy one of the shirts. And then we're also going to be giving them to you to take on different little tours that you go on and for different shows that you have. Yeah. And your shirts are inspired by you with your tongue out and the black Catwoman mask going over top of it. I don't know if we can say Catwoman. Yeah.
Perfect.
I love your shirt. Your shirt is actually my favorite shirt that I have.
Cool.
And I wear it so much that Kelly put a limit on how much I can wear
I
the
was
shirt.
like, yeah.
I'm only allowed to wear it once a week now.
Well, because he was telling me I could only wear like specific leggings. I shouldn't wear like cargo pants and things like that. I'm like, okay, well, if we're making stupid rules, then you can't wear your mink shirt like 5 days in a row. This is ridiculous.
I
feel like he still does more than one.
And I gotta like see how it's gonna hold up over time.
See that
I
like
don't
loophole
know.
he found? I'm product testing. Leave me
Exactly.
alone.
It's-
I feel like he has a couple and he's like, it's different. It's a different shirt.
Well, and then he has so many different iterations of it. I'm like,
It is
great
awesome, though.
shirt.
It
I
is
love
a
everything
great
about it. It's
shirt.
just so much fun, and it captures such a great energy and the movement and the style. Like, yeah, it's amazing. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Halladay. I really appreciate you making time to come on and talk to everybody.
Yes.
And I feel like there's so many things that like people just following you will end up being inspired by what you're doing. And I'm super excited to read your books and check out all the stuff that you're working on.
Thank you, Jake, and
Yeah.
thank you for having me and for letting me be a part of this
Amazing.
amazing artistic community that you're creating and just all the incredible people that you're putting together. It's just been so fun to see what you guys are up to. So thank you.
Absolutely. Totally.
Yes. And go follow your new Instagram.
Yeah.
At Halladay Blake.
Halladay Blake.
Yes.